Hey there, Grateful Gang. Lauren here, Gratitude Addict, founder of Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. I was just going to come out here for today's video blog and sit down on that. I'll get better with the camera, I promise. Sit down on that spot there, but it's awfully sunny, so let's try to find a shady spot, shall we? I want to first thank you for all the great response from my big announcement yesterday that I'm going to be doing a video blog and talking more about how I gratefully live my chronic life. Gotten such great response and such great comments and feedback from you guys, what you want to see, what you want to hear. It's getting shady now. Here we go. It's a beautiful day here in rural New Jersey, just getting used to this selfie stick thing. So I'm super excited, and I wasn't sure, I'm not sure what to make of it, but we're just gonna, kind of make it up as we go along. I just want to show, oh, it's nice and sunny here. Should I sit in the grass? I don't know. Starting to feel a little chest tightness today, so that's why I kind of came outside to just kind of, get in a state of flow and relax. One of your comments from yesterday from my one of my subscribers said that they'd like to hear more about my conditions. And if you're a member of the group Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, you know that that is against our rules. That's why I created the group, kind of to get away from that stuff. But this video blog is not Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, and while I'll be sharing a lot of the things that we talk about in there, I want this to be a bit different. I want to give you guys kind of an inside look in my life. Let's sit down here. As to how I live my life with chronic pain and illness. So, I don't want to get into too many specifics today, but let me tell you a little bit about myself for those of you that may not be a member of AOG, or Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. My name's Lauren Blanchard Zaleski, and I live here in beautiful rural New Jersey, little town called Asbury, New Jersey, which is not Asbury Park down at the shore where Bruce Springsteen is from, but out in western New Jersey by Pennsylvania. Love it here. I've lived here with my husband for, 29 years. It was in April. We've been married, well, that's not true. 28 years in April. We've been married. We'll be married 29 years in September, my husband and I, Rob. And we have two grown children, Riley, who is 26, and Jake, who just turned 24. They don't live at home anymore. Jake lives out in State College, Pennsylvania, where he's a student at Penn State. Riley lives in New York City. She's an actress, singer, who's doing it professionally. So we're super proud of the kids, and we are now empty nesters. We have been for a few years, but we're empty nesters. And I've lived with my chronic pain and illness for over 2 decades, since 2001. It started off for me as kind of feeling like the flu, and I know I'm not unique with a lot of my story. I know many of you can relate to my story. It took about a year to get diagnosed. Originally, they thought it was Lyme disease because my area, as rural as you can see it is all around, it is a mecca for Lyme disease. So even though I tested negative, they treated me for it. I knew it wasn't Lyme disease, and it wasn't. And so it took about a year of jumping from doctor to doctor to get diagnosed, and eventually was diagnosed with lupus and fibromyalgia, which is generally what I tell people, because it's true. A lot of these autoimmune things overlap, the symptoms overlap, and it's kind of a little bit like this and a little bit like that. To be honest with you, over the years, some doctors have said it really looks more like MS. I still have people on occasion saying it sure sounds like Lyme, but Spinal Tap tells me differently. So what my rheumatologist treats me for is what she refers to as undifferentiated connective tissue disorder. It's basically the same treatment as lupus, so that's kind of why I say lupus. But although I tend to say lupus and fibromyalgia all the time, it's just easier. I really have much more than that, as I know many of you can relate to. Also, I have a laundry list of things which unless I have a list in front of me, I will forget what they are, but I'll try to name some of it off the top of my head. Raynaud's phenomenon, Sjogren's syndrome, narcolepsy. I have neurological issues. They say it's due to the lupus. This is where possibly some of the MS if it's MS, may come in. I haven't had a seizure in a few years, but I had 3 pretty serious seizures back a few years ago, which is kind of when the MS stuff was talking. Right now, as you can see, I'm doing great. I mean, other than the chest tightness today, but I'm going through a really good period. I wouldn't consider myself in a flare at all. As a matter of fact, I've been doing pretty well lately. So while many of you who don't know me may be looking at this and say, you look really good compared to me, and I view that as a compliment. I don't view that as something to be offended by at all. I am sorry that you're struggling so much, but I have been there, and I do go through there. A year ago, November, I was on my way to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota and was sidetracked by COVID. I was having some very awful neurological things. I have really intense memory issues where I forget things. I do this live broadcast on Thursday nights, many of you know. And I've had interviews, one in particular with a really special guest to me that I don't remember doing. And I know I did it because I can see it here on YouTube. And of course I scheduled it and all of that, but I don't remember doing the interview. It was, I can let myself get terrified by it, and I won't lie to you. Of course it is. A lot of this stuff, worrying about the future, worrying about, what is next to come or whatever, it used to paralyze me. It really did. And it's difficult to kind of get over those fears and worries and anxieties. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I know you guys can relate. So while I may look good now, there have been times where I've needed to walk with a walker because my tremors have gotten so bad where I can't walk up and down the stairs. I fall. I can't swallow at times. So don't let outward looks deceive you. And I know many of you can relate to that also. Many of us have invisible illnesses. So there are times like now where my illness is invisible, and I'm grateful for that. I don't get offended by that when people say you don't look sick. But there are also times where it is very, very visible and scary. So we all go through ebbs and flows and ups and downs. And so there's a great quote by Theodore Roosevelt that I've put, I think in the last 2 books actually. It says, comparison is the thief of joy. And that's why in AOG we don't allow talk of our conditions, because our natural tendency is to compare ourselves to each other. And it's really just not helpful, gang. It's not. Comparing how you are to somebody else, saying, looking at me and saying, you've got nothing to complain about because I look really good. And I do. I look good. I admit it. I'm really happy about that right now. But that doesn't help you in your situation. It doesn't. And I'm sure that you probably have been offended once or twice when people tell you that you don't look sick. So focus on yourself rather on how everybody else looks around you, because our energy is really, really precious. And it can be spent in a lot better ways than focusing on how everybody else looks, or who's worse off than who, or who's better than who. It's really just not helpful. So that's a bit about me for today. Heading into a busy weekend, a full weekend full of really good things. I have to make sure that I am allowing time for self-care. Now, I will, full disclosure, be honest with you, and one of the things is a spa day on Sunday. So what do I have to complain about? Excuse me, this is a 50th birthday gift for my sister who turned 50 back in April. We had it planned. My daughter Riley got COVID, so we rescheduled to Sunday. So I hardly need a reboot day from a spa day. I recognize this, but it is far away and it's an all-day thing. And then tomorrow we have my nephew's high school graduation party all day. So while they're all wonderful things, in particular the spa day, and I may be going for a pedicure with my daughter tomorrow morning, it's still a lot of stuff. And regardless of what the things are, sometimes just being around a lot of people can be, emotionally exhausting. And so we need to make sure that we are exercising self-care as much as we can. But I hope, if I don't come to you at all tomorrow or for the rest of the week, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope you take the time to do something that feeds your soul, sets your soul on fire, and puts you in a state of flow, something that helps you to forget about your pain, if only for just a few minutes. Maybe it's coming out into your outside area, like in this little outside oasis here at my house. Right now I'm going to head up to my vegetable plants. Let's see if I can do this. Just my house up there. I'll do a tour of my garden at some point, because those of you that are in Attitude of Gratitude with chronic pain know I'm kind of a sucker for growing heirloom tomatoes, and we're doing a whole host of other veggies this year too. Potatoes, patty pan squash, all sorts of things. And I'm finding, like, I've always, for the last several decades, I've always grown tomatoes, but we are really, really getting into it, and the vegetable gardening thing also this year. So I'm finding that getting my hands in the dirt and doing what I call dirt therapy is really something that feeds my soul and sets my soul on fire. So I can't wait to show you guys everything that I do to gratefully live my chronic life. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for listening. Please put in the comments if you have any other questions about anything I shared today, my conditions, what I go through, and anything. I want to hear from you guys what you'd like to see out of this vlog. So I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Peace and love, and get your gratitude on, gang. Bye.